Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is our second session about the construction of foul sewer network, and this session will not help you only to know about the sequence of foul sewer construction, but it will also give you a guidance for the documents that you need when you are new to any project. And now let's start our session, but let me first remind you to subscribe for this channel and like our Facebook page, which is written below, to get notification for the new videos. And don't forget, contact me if you need any help and I will support you. And now let me remind you about our previous session and what we have said in the previous session. We talked last session about the foul sewer system mechanism. We talked about the house connection shop drawing, house connection types, and how can we connect the houses and terminate the existing temporary system and connect it to the live foul sewer network. Also, we talked about how to produce or check any shop drawing. In this session, we will talk about what do you need to know when you are new to any project. Documents. What are the documents that you need to know to let you get involved in the projects and become familiar with your colleagues and the project as much as you can. Not all of us, we join the project at the beginning. Some of us we may join the project in the middle. Some of us may join the project before the end. So what are the things that we need to know so it will help us to become familiar with a project very fast? The second thing, we'll talk about the sequence of foul sewer pipeline works, and we will talk about some of these activities in this session, and we'll continue in the coming few sessions. Okay, now we'll talk about the documents that we need when we join any new project. I am new to any project and I need to know about that project. What are the things in this project? What are the zones and where is this project? The first thing that you need to know, the approved zoning plan. Why do you need to know the approved zoning plan? The approved zoning plan will give you a clear vision about where are we now and what shall we do in the future and what we have done in the past. This is very important. It will let you know about the interfaces. What does it mean, interfaces? Interfaces means your neighbors or the projects that are at your boundary. Who should you coordinate with and what shall you do to finish your project as fast as possible? Second thing, that is the brief scope of work, because the scope of work is very important to let you know your limits and what are the things that you should do and what are the things that you should not do, or identify any new item to your project. What are the new items that you have been added recently to your project? It's very important to realize your scope of work. The third thing is a signed contract. Signed contract is very important to let you know your obligations and your commitments toward the client, toward the contractor, toward the consultant. As a person, you should know very well your duties which are mentioned in the contract. You should also have one full set of the contract drawing, and you have to read it very carefully, and you have to be aware about the small details so you will not get lost in the project. Something else is the approved baseline program. Approved baseline program will help you to know what is the start date, what is the end date of this project, and what are the start date and end date of each road, each zone inside this project. And this is very important to give you a clear vision about the project and to help you to fast track any delay that may occur. Also, you need to know the latest monthly progress report, because this will contain some sketches that will show you the current progress, and it will have some photos that will give you also a brief about the activities going on. This will let you become involved in the project very fast. Also, you need to have some trackers like permit tracker, change request or payment. Change request, it will have the things that has been added to the project which you cannot see it in the original scope that I have mentioned before. You can see that in the change request. You can know that these additional scope has been added to the contractor, so you can work on it. Also, you need to know the payment situation. What is the if you are if this is in your discipline. Something else is the lean implementation updates. Lean implementation is something related to the planning, but it's more practical, and we need to know we need to go through that in the coming sessions. It will give us a clear view about the lean, which is something really new and great. Risk register will let you know more about the risks that are going to face you in the future, and it will give you the mitigation plans that can help you to avoid or mitigate that risk. You need to have copy of the important plans such as project quality plan, dewatering plan, rainy season plan, inspection and test plan, and some method statements as well. Also, you need to have copy of the organization chart for contractor, for consultant, for the client, for key person, and the contact details of all of them. So you can contact them as per the organization chart and your position in the project. The second part of this session will talk about the sequence of foul sewer pipeline construction. What shall we do and how can we start the project or start the construction of any new foul sewer line? First of all, we have to do trial pits, and then we'll go to setting out of the line. Then we'll start the excavation of that line. We'll lay geotextile membrane, pipe bedding, pipe laying. Then we'll construct something called cut-off wall. Then we'll connect our pipe to the manhole. Then we'll do pipe surrounding or partial surround. Then we'll do initial test. Then we'll continue our surrounding. We'll go for backfilling. We'll do final test. Then we'll go for CCTV for final handing over. We'll start with the first activity, which is trial pits. Trial pits, how can we determine the location of the trial pits? We'll go through the existing utilities drawing that we have received from the different authorities, and we shall read it in conjunction with our proposed utilities and go to these crossings in between and determine the exact location of or approximate location of the trial pit. Based on this drawing received from the authorities, we'll do something called combined drawing. Combined drawing will help us to determine the approximate location of the trial pits. Then we'll go to site and we'll start scanning for these points, as we can see here in this video. This is something called ground penetration radar. This ground penetration radar will help you to know the location, the exact location of the existing utilities, and it will give you the depth of these utilities, at which depth you can find this utility. As we can see here, the technician is reading the screen to determine the exact location and to let the site people know where is the location of this cable. As you can see in this screen, at this parabola, can you see this parabola? And this is the depth of this existing utility. He has found it at approximate 1.2 meter. Then he will mark it on site. See, he has confirmed the scanning done. And the depth of utility is 1.2 meter from the ground level. And this is MV cable. He knows that there is MV cable here from the drawing, and based on that he determined this point and he started the scanning. And here he is confirming with the cable detector that there is an MV cable in this area. And this is the safety team is marking on the ground the location of this utility. Then we'll go for the next step, that they will start exposing these points and will protect the existing utilities. Then the consultant will go jointly with the contractor to inspect that these points has been exposed, has been protected using calibrated machines. And in case that they find anything or any utility that was not shown in the existing utilities drawing, which we have received it from the authorities, then we have to update our utilities drawing temporarily. Then we have to contact these authorities to obtain the latest as-built drawing. Then we'll go for the next step, which is setting out. In the setting out, we will check that the design coordinates are marked on the site, and the existing utilities are protected, and trial bits inspection request is approved prior to start excavation. As we can see here, the consultant has attended to the site jointly with the contractor to check that all the utilities are marked on site and scanned, and he will check the scanning report along with the existing utilities drawing, that all the utilities have been exposed on site, all the utilities have been protected jointly with the HSE engineer from the contractor and from the consultant as well. They will go through these points one by one, and they will make sure that everything is okay, so they can proceed for the next activity, which is excavation. In the excavation, how can we do our excavation? Simply, we do our excavation based on the approved shop drawing. In the approved shop drawing, there is three things that we rely on when we start our excavation. The first thing is the approved layout. Second thing is the approved profile. Third thing is the approved cross section. As we can see here, this is the layout. Layout will show you the coordinates of manholes, and so it will give you the alignment between different manholes. And the profile will let you know about the connection type. There are three types of connection. There are straight connection, there is ram backdrop connection, there is vertical backdrop connection, and this is mainly depend on the level between the incoming and outgoing pipe, and we will go through that in the coming few slides. Also, as we can see here, that the profile will show us the other utilities that are crossing our trench, as we can see here. One more thing I'd like to add, that if you have two trenches are very nearby, you have, for example, surface water and foul sewer, they are very nearby, and you have to start excavation. Which one you have to start excavation for it first? The first trench to be excavated is the deepest one. Then we'll go to the next slide, which talks about the cross section. The cross section will show you here the dimensions of this trench. There is a trench width depend on the pipe mainly, and there is a distance that you have to maintain, or clearance that you have to maintain on the right and on the left of the pipe. And this is the minimum width of the trench, and there is maximum width of the trench. Why they determine the maximum width of the trench? Because this pipe will be exposed to a certain load, and this pipe can carry loads as per the design or as per the manufacturer recommendation. And if we increase that width, we need to go for some kind of protection that we will see in the coming slide. Something else we have to mention, that the excavation shall be kept dry to 300 mm below the bottom of excavation, which will be maintained through the dewatering system, which we'll go through it in a separate video. We'll talk about the dewatering and how can we do different kind of dewatering system in the project. This photo shows the excavation after cleaning. As we can see here, the secondary barriers are maintained to protect the people from falling at the edge of the excavation. Then here we'll go for geotic style membrane and pipe bedding. Geotic style membrane, we lay it as we can see here to simply act as a separator between the existing soil and the material that you are going to lay in the trench, to avoid any mixing between this material after stoppage of the dewatering system at the end of the project. Also, one more thing I'd like to add is the material which we use as a bedding material, Gabro material. Gabro material, we use it because it's incompressible material and a durable material, so the pipe levels will not be disturbed. The bedding, not something we lay to rest the pipe on. As I mentioned before, that there is a maximum width of the trench. In case this width has been increased for any reason, then in this case, the contractor has to provide a cradle concrete below the pipe to protect the pipe at no additional cost as per specification. Then this is the QCS clause that show you the pipe bedding, and the pipe bedding material or grading depends mainly on the type of pipe. It depends only also in the pipe diameter, and this is clearly stated in the QCS and the standard drawing as well. This is another photo from the side showing the geotic style membrane laid below the pipe, and the Gabro material is laid on the trench. Then we'll go for pipe laying and cut-off wall construction. Pipe laying simply will be laid as per the layout drawing, as I have mentioned before. Pipe laying from this manhole to this manhole, and the connection to the manhole as shown in the profile. And this is the cut-off wall. Why do we construct the cut-off wall? Cut-off wall we constructed simply to prevent the bedding acting as a subsoil drain. Means after we stop the dewatering system, the water will go through this material, and there is a fine material between the Gabro material, and it will not let this fine material migrate from section to section, so it will not allow the pipe level to be disturbed or to settle. What are the dimensions of this cut-off wall, or what is the frequency of this cut-off wall? We construct the cut-off wall every 40 meter between between two adjacent manholes, and also the width of this cut-off wall will be the 300 mm, and the length of it will be the width of the trench, as we can see here in these photos. This is the width of the trench. This is 300 mm, and to which level? To the level of surround, to as I mentioned before, to prevent the bedding acting as a subsoil drain. Now we'll go to the pipe connection to the manhole. Pipe connection to the manhole, there are three kind of connection to the manhole. There is straight connection, there is a backdrop connection. This backdrop connection, there is three kind of backdrop connection: ram backdrop, vertical backdrop, and internal backdrop. When shall we go for straight connection? Straight connection in case the difference in the level between the incoming pipe to the manhole and the outgoing pipe from the manhole is from 0 to 0.6 meters, and from 0.6 meters, if the difference is 0.6 meter until 1.2 meter, we will use ram backdrop. For ram backdrop, there is a Y junction. Then from this Y junction, we'll go through this bend. This is something called rodding eye plug, and this rodding eye plug will use it for maintenance purpose, because the water will go from this pipe, going through this pipe like this to the main line. And in case of any blockage inside this pipe, then we'll use this rodding eye to to remove any blockage inside the pipe. This is something called vertical backdrop. Vertical backdrop, we use it if the difference between the pipes is from 1.2 meter to 8 meter maximum. After that, we will use something called vortex backdrop. Then this is something called internal backdrop. When shall we use internal backdrop? Internal backdrop will be used if there is no enough space outside the manhole to let you construct the ram backdrop or the vertical backdrop, and this kind of backdrops will be authorized only by operation and maintenance department and in Ashghal. Nobody else can approve this one. The consultant doesn't have the authority to approve this kind of connections. That's why the only authority has to approve this one is the Ashghal or operation and maintenance department. Here, this is a photo to show you the straight connection to the manhole. As we can see here, the pipe is going directly to the invert level of the manhole. And this is the ram backdrop. This is the Y junction. This is the bend. This is the Y junction. This is the bend. And the rodding eye, you can see it from inside the manhole. And this grouting will be done. Then this backdrop, all these backdrops will be concreted as shown in this section. There is something else we have to mention, is that the something called a swellable bar. The swellable bar or water stopper, this will be surrounded around the pipe. This will be surrounded around the box out concrete to prevent any potential for any leakage that may occur in the future, because these are the weakness point in the manhole before grouting this opening. This is the end of the session. Thank you very much indeed for your active listening. And this is the gentle reminder to subscribe for this channel to get notified for any new videos. And bye.